Hey YouTubers, today we have an easy one. This is a dishwasher that keeps slowly filling by itself, even when it's off. This has got the Fix-It guy, and we'll be covering a real easy way to correct this by adding a new fill valve. Sometimes these parts called fill valves lose their ability to fully close, so even when there's no power going to the dishwasher, it'll still keep filling up due to a little bit of pressure coming in from the house and an inability for the valve to fully close. So to replace it is pretty inexpensive and pretty easy to do. You can get one of these fill valves for your dishwasher from Amazon for about 20 bucks or less, and it'll only take us a few minutes to do. So first things first, make sure you've unplugged your dishwasher and turn off the water going to the dishwasher underneath the sink. And now we are just showing you kind of what's happening inside. It's got some water that builds up slowly, and eventually it actually goes out and can flood the kitchen floor, and it's just due to that valve not fully closing. So to remove it, it's pretty easy. All we're going to do, again, after we got it unplugged and have the water turned off, we take out these two Phillips head screws that are on the kick plate underneath the dishwasher door. And that's going to allow us really easy access to the fill valve. This is pretty true in most types of dishwashers. The fill valve's usually located in the front to the left. Next is just a few Phillips head screws we're going to take out here that are holding on the fill valve. And what I've done to get to these screws is just opened up the door to about a 90-degree angle. It actually gives me a little bit more room to work. So I'll pull out those two Phillips head screws, and then the bracket that's holding on the fill valve will be disconnected, and I can pull the fill valve down a little bit and then pull it out toward me to be able to disconnect the two power wires coming in. Again, make sure you have it unplugged, and also the water supply. Helping you, please consider pressing down in the lower right-hand corner of your screen the subscribe button, and that really helps our channel. So now we're using some needle nose pliers to pry down on the spade connector that's bringing power to the fill valve. Again, make sure you have it unplugged. So we got one off, and then we're going to pry off the second one. Sometimes these come off really easy, and sometimes you have to wrestle them off. These were a little bit hard to get off. I'm going to pull the valve toward me. There's a black hose here that's taking water from the fill valve to the dishwasher. I'm going to cut it off using some diagonal pliers. If you don't have those, you can use like a small screwdriver to kind of pry this one open. And we can't reuse this hose clamp, so you want to have a small hose clamp that you can put on after you replace the fill valve. And you can go to the hardware store and get one of those pretty cheap. But it's fairly small. I think they would call it a 1/4 inch size. So I cut off part of that old hose clamp, and I'm using a flathead screwdriver to just push it back. I'm going to wiggle that black hose off of the old fill valve. A little bit of water is going to come out. Now I use a crescent wrench to loosen the nut on this compression fitting that's the water coming in from the house to the fill valve. I'm going to go lefty-loosey to get that loosened up, and then I can take it off just using my fingers, and then I'll be able to take the brass elbow off of the old fill valve and put it onto the new one. So we got that to where we can get it off with just finger pressure. Got a little paper towel to catch some water that might come out. Now I'm using the crescent wrench to grab the brass elbow, and I'm going to use my left hand to hold on to the metal frame of the fill valve, and I'm going to go lefty-loosey to get this brass elbow off. And then I'll add some thread tape to the threads on the biggest threads. There's a big aperture and a small aperture. I'm going to use the big aperture. Here's a little part number. We'll put a link in the description below too for the new fill valve. Pretty cheap. So I get that Teflon pipe tape on the threads, And then I can go ahead and make sure that there's no pipe tape, thread tape in the way, and then I can just thread that right into the new fill valve and then tighten it with the crescent wrench, or you could use a pair of pliers or even vice grips. You want to get it pretty tight. And once you get it tight, it's good to try to get the brass fill valve to or elbow to fit and point in the same direction as the white plastic piece. So I've got it all connected now. I've got the hose connected back. I got the spade connectors connected back. I've got the silver compression fitting connected back. I'm just going to put in a couple of Phillips head screws to hold it in. I did a leak test. I started it to make sure it didn't leak. It looked good. And now I'll go ahead and put the kick panel back into position, put the Phillips head screws back in. And then we're going to also go over real quickly how to clean the filter too, which is pretty easy to do, but good to do now and then so that your dishwasher will operate really well. Just tightening up those 2 Phillips head screws. Another problem with a fill valve sometimes is they won't open, so then your dishwasher won't fill, and that can also be fixed by just replacing the fill valve. So we got nice water filling in. We turned the water back on. We plugged it back in and tested it. Looks really good. Got plenty of water shooting around. So you can cancel by just pressing that same start button, or you can use it to start the cycle. So to clean it, we just run this filter underneath water, and we're going to use our fingers, or you could use an old toothbrush to try to push away any of the food debris or material that might be clogging the filter. Oh yeah, that makes sense. You just put it behind the plant. Should just take a couple minutes. Yeah, that's smart. And you go, where do? All right, we're going to pop that back in. So in this case, in this dishwasher, we're going to put in the round part first. The actual fine filter will go into the sump area, and then we'll go ahead and push the macro filter, or bigger filter, into the screen filter. And then we're going to push that down into the sump and then turn it to the right to lock it in. It's really important that once you clean your filter, you put it back in, it's locked in. If you tried to lift it up, you could not lift it up. And that'll just prevent any food debris from getting sucked into the mechanism. So I go push in, turn to the right. I can't lift it up, so that's perfect. Watching our video, and please subscribe to our channel when you get a chance, and also click the little bell notification button so we can send you weekly videos on all the different ways of fixing appliances around your home and saving you lots of money. So thanks again for watching, and please also press the like button for our video if this was helpful to you. Feel free to contact me at the email listed below, which is scottthefixitguy@yahoo.com, with any of your questions. And also, if you need to have a FaceTime meeting with me or a Zoom meeting, you can click on one of the links below in the description, and we can set up a 15-minute or 30-minute video conference where we can work on your appliance problem. So thanks again for all your support and for watching the video.